Okay, did you see that during the break? The key question is if hot money is what is powering Nigeria's Broad Street, that's the financial center. You got a report from the capital importation for third quarter a day ago from the Bureau of Statistics, and we showed you that earlier. The size of foreign portfolio investment, $2.76 billion in the third quarter, out of $4.14 billion that we got. Foreign direct investment, which are referred to as cold money, which just stays with you for years and perhaps decades, is just about $117.6 million. Let's continue these conversations on the side of hot money. We've had a bit of conversation about the cold money. Omotola Abimbola from Afrinvest is still here. So I'm going to put this question directly to you. I'm going to read it off. Is hot money powering Broad Street?
It is. That's a fact, at least from the data. Data says so. But more importantly, looking at the capital importation data that came out yesterday, I think we can still pick some positives out of it, and there are some negatives as well. The positives first, we were able to get about $4.1 billion of capital inflows in Q3, which was the highest since Q3 2014, when we had the oil boom, when it started, faltering. And that rebound in capital importation was driven by two major sectors or categories. That's foreign portfolio investments, what you termed short money, hot money. That's the money going into buying financial security with a short-term perspective. And we also had a boom in loan investments or loan inflows. We had some foreign capital raisings by both the corporates as well as the federal government, during the quarter, particularly the diaspora bond, which closed around that time. So that led to improvements in loans inflow. But speaking to the foreign portfolio investment, it was essentially driven by higher inflows recorded in the equity markets, I think about $1.9 billion compared to the fixed income market. So some positives, we are getting the flows, although we are not getting the right type of flows that we want as an economy to grow. FDI, which is the foreign direct investment, the money that goes into creating jobs in your economy, it is at its lowest level in more than 3 years. Perhaps 4 years, at more than $70 million.
We're going to leave the cold money. Let's stick with the hot money because we need to go there. When we nosedived in 2014, and I've gotten a few comments. Your colleagues, colleagues, because you folks are analysts as well from United Capital, and this is what they wrote this morning about capital importation into Nigeria. Hot money up, cold money down. That's what they said. This is going to start the code. It says portfolio investors are fair weather friends who would not hesitate to exit at the slightest sign of trouble.
Yeah, that's the reality. Hot money, as the name implies, it blows hot and cold. So when the capital market sentiment is positive in your economy and you have all your key macro anchors, oil prices positive, exchange rates, liquidity positive, these flows come in. But when the tide turns, they go out. So it is not money that you can use to grow your economy. You need more of FDI inflows, to create jobs, and grow the economy.
I agree with you. Now, this is what FBN Quest, another research analyst firm, sent in this morning, about an hour ago. And they said the Nigerian market, and this was basically speaking to the Nigerian stock market, outperforming a number of other big markets in Africa, the Kenyan market and the GSE in South Africa, says the Nigerian market, this paragraph 3, has benefited from an improvement in macro data and news.
Correct. Both macro data and news. Speaking of number one, the improved FX market flexibility. After the implementation of the high and heel window in April 2017, foreign investors who were at first spooked by the lack of foreign exchange liquidity, they were able to, come into the markets and get their FX, at the price that they want. So that has encouraged, capital inflows into Nigeria.
So technically speaking, from a macroeconomic point of view, something is going on right within the Nigerian economy.
Correct. In terms
and that
of
is attracting.
Prices, yeah, but the things going on right, they are cyclical in nature. We haven't really seen a structural economic shift.
Okay.
Cyclical in terms of oil production and oil prices. These are cyclical metrics. They come up and they go down. depending on the nature of demand and supply, in the global markets. But the real structural reforms needed to encourage long-term capital.
So the oil money is coming in, and oil production is very sweet. Foreign investors, portfolio investors like such scenario. Yes. They love the oil money. They love Nigeria's oil money.
Correct.
The way they loved it in 2011 to 2014, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
So foreign portfolios money were coming, and just as we're heading into the elections, they took the next available flight because they have their passports under their pillows, and off they go. Now they're coming back.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, they're coming back.
So when things were down, and we're down on our knees in 2016, what did foreign portfolio investors or foreign investors says they want to see with Nigeria?
Because many of these foreign investors, they invest across a number of frontier markets. So if they can't bring their capital into Nigeria, they can allocate it to Kenya, they can take it to, Tanzania or any other frontier markets. So for us, what they were asking from the government is particularly more flexibility in terms of the FX management structure. They want to see transparency in the allocation of capital in the FX markets. And in April 2017, the Central Bank of Nigeria listened to their call, and we had the Hannah Hill window, which has boosted sentiment in the economy and the capital markets. And with improved, improved oil prices and improved crude oil production, we have seen the volume of intervention in the foreign exchange market by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have seen this increase, which has boosted liquidity, in the FX market. And in addition to that, we have implemented a tight monetary policy regime over the past 1 year, which has driven up yields in the fixed income market to a very attractive level. So for most foreign portfolio investors, they could see a carry trade opportunity. Borrow money at the low interest rates in advanced economies at 2-3%, and invest it in a frontier economy such as Nigeria, where you can get 20% return on your investments. So that's a 17% or 18% spread, such that even if there is a subtle devaluation in the currency, they are still going to make enough, enough gains to complement, to compensate them for the risks they are taking investing in our market. Yeah.